Welcome, wrestling fans. Thanks again for joining in for another week on AEZ All Elite Zone here on YouTube every Tuesday night. And another week, I say it every week, another great week of wrestling, but it's true. I think we've got some of the best wrestling we've seen in a long time. And it's nice to share the stage again with my counterpart, Adam. Great to see you and have you on again.
Yeah, very excited to be here. It's 2 weeks in a row, and now we finally got more people to join us. It's no longer the Matt and Adam show.
Yeah, I don't even know what to do here anymore, Adam. It's just I've got used to the two of us.
I don't know what to do with my hands, so I don't.
And Aimer, you've been suspicious by your absence, I guess, in the terms of the wrestling world would say. But hope you're doing well, and nice to have you back.
Yeah, Ramadan is done. So yeah, hoping to get back into the swing of things because I actually have time to do this. So glad to be back.
Very cool. Good to have you back. And there he is, the man, Connor. How are you doing, sir, this week?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It should be a good show. We got our AEW Dynasty predictions. So yeah, it should be a good show.
Yeah, definitely. Just as Connor mentioned, we're definitely going to dive for most of the show and do our predictions for each of the matches that are coming up at the Dynasty on Sunday, April 21st. That looks like a pretty solid lineup. And I know that, again, there's a bombarded by a ton of great wrestling out there. And I don't know how much you guys actually saw, but I just wanted to, I did catch a bit of the Windy City Riot, which happened. It's the New Japan pay-per-view that took place in Chicago, Illinois, I guess this past weekend. And again, I watched some of the matches and I'm kind of surprised by some of the wins there. And I don't know if you guys had a chance to see it, but I was actually really impressed. And I wouldn't have thought that John Moxley would have won, the IWGP championship. I thought that was kind of crazy, but and also another one we could talk about, or if you guys saw, which again, he's one of my favorites from this past year, is Zack Sabre Jr. I think he's phenomenal and I really enjoy. I love the way he wrestles and interacts with the crowd. And he regained the New Japan, the television championship from Matt Riddle. So kind of surprised to see that one as well, but. Hey, did you guys get a chance to see any of those or any of those matches from the Windy City Riot this past weekend?
I didn't see the event much, but I did see the Moxley and no, not the Mox, but the Matt Riddle and yeah, that was a really, really good match. All the fans hated Matt Riddle, it seemed like from watching it, but it was a really good back and forth match, I thought.
Yeah, me too. Aimer, did you hear about it? Read about it?
I followed it on the internet. Yeah, sorry, but yeah, I followed it. I'm not big on New Japan, so I didn't really know a lot of the names. But yeah, it was interesting to see Moxley, become the champ. Going on with that exactly towards the end, where he just popped out of the ring, and I'm like, not sure what to make of that. But yeah, clearly a good time was had by all. And the fact that amazed me the most, and I know we don't want to go too far down this road, but there seemed to be a pretty pro Jack Perry crowd there, which was very, very interesting. Am I correct, Maddie, that you were there?
Yeah, you know what? I found that too. So I didn't get to actually see the full match of Jack Perry's, but I think his character and the people are really taken to him there. I just wanted to touch on. I did notice. Kind of your point though with Matt, when you said Matt Riddle kind of jumped out of the ring there at the end after he lost, and I don't know if you guys noticed, or he's just being the nice guy, or he's doing this thing, but as he was leaving, he just lost his championship, and he's doing like high fives and slapping hands, high fiving with the crowd, and had a big smile and was cheering, and I was like, you just lost your championship. You should look a little upset as you're walking out. I know you don't want to be a dick to the fans, and so he's trying to do that. But when the camera showed how happy he was,
yeah,
it was like, should you have been that happy? You just lost the championship.
I didn't know what to make of it. I'm just like, I'm really just kind of scratching my head. Like, I don't know. It's just really weird.
I wasn't sure what to think either with Matt Riddle, I guess, being the heel, but I just really find and having the opportunity to see Zack Sabre Jr. live and the way he interacts with the crowd, and he's so funny. I don't know how you would make him a heel. Like, he's just such a likable guy. Even when he does his dick moves, he's funny and he has to engage. So, I can see why the fans would be behind and how it turned. And I don't know if Matt Riddle is a heel or was a heel. It was kind of strange actually to see him as a bit of a heel because, he always played the goofy character in the WWE. So I kind of like him when he's less goofy than what he was. But I don't know, Adam, did you see any highlights or watch any of that?
I watched some highlights, and so it's funny because I'm originally from the suburbs of Chicago, and that's basically where AEW got like some of its first shows, was just outside in the suburbs of Chicago. So the fact that the crowd was so split on Jack Perry, I think we need to talk about that because that is the elephant in the room in pro wrestling, especially in AEW right now, is Jack Perry. And the fact that he got the reaction that he got surprised me because when you watch videos of fans in the audience, half of them are booing, but half of them are like cheering Jack Perry. They're like, all right, Jack Perry boy, all right, like, welcome, like, you did nothing wrong, like, all this stuff. I did like his entrance with the security guards, the Chicago flag, and then once it drops, it says Cry Me a River on his jacket. I did enjoy that. That is such cheap heat. I thoroughly enjoyed that. It just shows that he's going to be back in AEW like sooner than later. But yeah, no, I think Matt Riddle, I think they were saying that he's still, a lot of people rumored that was probably Matt Riddle's out the door moment of New Japan, but he still has some obligation dates, I believe, with New Japan. So who knows? But I think Matt just is enjoying his time as a free agent right now, getting more freedom, getting more of some of these matches. Because I had mentioned you guys last week, if you guys saw our Thursday episode on the independent scene for our Talking Elite, I had mentioned a match at a show of AAW, All American Wrestling up in the Chicagoland area, and it was Matt Riddle versus Mike Elgin. Probably one of the best matches I've seen. And that was before Matt Riddle signed with WWE. So the fact that he's enjoying his time right now on the free agency, I think shows a lot to his character of, hey, he's just having a good time.
So how do you think, like, his character? Do you like him better now? Do you feel he's having an opportunity to be more himself as opposed to playing that kind of a lovable, goofy guy in WWE?
Well, let's just say this: he's still piping the devil's lettuce. Let's just say that he's still enjoying himself, and so I think he is enjoying life more. I think right now, also, I think the fact that I don't know if it's good or bad he's an independent wrestler right now as far as not signed to a major company because he was let go from WWE not just because of cuts but because of his behavioral stuff, his extracurricular drug stuff, his incidents in airports with security. So I'm hoping that maybe he finds time to kind of find himself too and not so much kind of secluded like with the schedule WWE had to where he's having these incidents. Mm-hmm. But I feel like right now maybe he finds some self-being in himself and kind of redeems himself, and maybe you see him re-sign with WWE now that Randy Orton's back. Maybe he'll talk to Trips and be like, listen, we got to bring Matt back. I enjoyed working with him. And I think would be a redeemable quality for Matt if he cleans everything up and kind of cuts back on some of his personal stuff. And, you could see him back in WWE.
Yeah, I mean, I know Randy Orton did say if it wasn't for Matt Riddle, he wouldn't have been able to succeed, especially that last year when he was in tons of pain the whole time. And he rode Matt's coattails, and which is great, right? Because that speaks volumes right there to your point. What everyone sometimes, it's amazing. You kind of hear that, being in WWE is the be all end all, and that's what you strive to be. But, for some people it's not. And they hear like it's, again, like a Ronda Rousey. I mean, that maybe not the best example, but someone saying, didn't have a lot of good time, didn't like the locker room, it's not run properly, and people leave or say or ask, you've had the guys who ask, to be let go so they can move on, right? So, you never know. I mean, he might have had his struggles. He it's a corporation, right? So, maybe he can actually, maybe he's happier. Maybe, he could be a little freer to what he, develop his character, and so maybe it'll be good for him, just, I think, just like Nick Namath, I think it's good for him to be Nick Namath and not be Dolph Ziggler tied to that, and kind of have that opportunity to be and express yourself and maybe the character that you want to be at this point in your career. So, all good for them. I don't know what you guys, again, I know I always can mention I'm a big one for the look and feel and the aesthetics and the stages and the lights like that for me also helps with the show. I really like that. I really noticed with this New Japan, and again, maybe this is their thing, but I found their entrance very minimal, like almost like ECW, like, a couple of lights around. They kind of just went down some steps. Like it just felt very like 90s indie, right? Or just for like a pay-per-view, you kind of think that, a company like that at that scale, they would have like a bigger entranceway or lights or bigger lights. So I don't know. Did you guys notice anything, or do I just care about this stuff a little too much?
I think outside of Japan, they're pretty small. Like I know at Japan, like they have the big entrance, and but sometimes in America they do. But I know like for their strong, New Japan Press and strong, like sometimes the entrances are small. I don't know. I guess it just depends. In the UK they had a pretty good stage. I don't know. It could be tickets they sell, or I don't know. That's very normally in Japan, like they have the big stages. So I guess it just depends on the venue. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I don't know. Sometimes I think it's to do with logistics. First of all, that they're bringing a lot of equipment, they're bringing a lot of stuff over from Japan for the show. But then I thought, okay, there's enough places where you can source out some of this rigging and talk to someone who does stages, right? I just thought it was a little lackluster. If you're trying to make it kind of independent kind of looking, then for sure, like a little indie show, then they did a great job of that. If that's kind of the feel that they were going for and weren't there to be flashy, they were just like focused on the wrestling in the ring. Then if that's what they're going for, then they definitely succeeded there. But anyways, I just wanted to bring up some of that, from the news and what happened this past week. But as we mentioned, we can dive into. We've got the big pay-per-view coming up for AEW Dynasty this Sunday. And so where's it actually from? What city is this actually from?
St. Louis.
Yep, St. Louis, Missouri.
From St. Louis, Missouri this weekend. So, yeah, I definitely going to tune in. I'm sure you guys are as well. And, we can start with, let's talk about the first match. Actually, they're all bangers. I think everyone is a title match except
The trio.
just for one match. I think everything else is a title match. But so let's start off and get your guys' predictions. We've got the TBS champion. We've got where we got here, guys. Oh, we got Julia Hart versus Willow Nightingale for the TBS championship. Adam, we'll start with you and your predictions and your thoughts.
Well, this is for me. This match can go either way. I think right now, Julia Hart's kind of stuck in between a rock and a hard place with the storyline between Willow and Mercedes. So where they go from here all depends on the outcome of this match. Because also on Wednesday, they had the segment of Mercedes being attacked backstage. Now the question is, did Mercedes stage that herself to make it look like someone attacked her, or did someone really attack her? But if this goes the way that I think, maybe this goes, Willow wins because they want to run back their match they had for the, New Japan Women's title, obviously. But I can also see Julia Hart pull this one out, and for one reason that I'd like to see a swerve. And the wild card for that is Chris Statlander. Just because the heel implements have been implanted in her character, as far as her not winning that Fatal 4-Way to earn this title match, her just being in the background of everything for Willow. The little segment after Trent turned heel and he whispered something in her ear. So, I mean, they've been planted, but maybe this is also a thing where Willow does win, goes to Double or Nothing, defend against Mercedes, and that's where Chris Statlander turns on her friends and costs her the title against Mercedes. So, but overall, I think the way they're going to go with this match, and with my prediction, is this is going to be a Willow Nightingale win, just so they can set up that rematch between Mercedes and Willow.
No, yeah. You know what? Some good points. Good points. I'll pass it over to Connor first for some thoughts.
I think no matter who wins this match, they're going to lose against Mercedes at Double or Nothing. Like, Julie wins, she loses. Willow wins, she loses. I could see Willow winning and then losing to Mercedes, or Statlander costing Willow and Julia winning. But either way, whoever wins is going to lose to Mercedes, and it's kind of like that's one of the things that I didn't like about WWE, that they would bring guys back like Goldberg or just names who never wrestle in their first match as a title match.
Mm-hmm.
I wish Mercedes would have had to work her way up, because every big name in AEW has pretty much had to do that. Even Saraya, she doesn't wrestle as frequently, but she did wrestle a few matches before winning the women's world title. But this match should be a pretty good match. I have no doubt that Julia and Will have a good match. But if I'm going to pick anyone, it will probably be Will Nightingale to become the new TBS champion.
All right. Amer, your thoughts?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I don't see Willow losing this at all, although I am kind of intrigued about Adam's idea of, playing it out so that Statlander costs her the match against Mercedes. I think that's kind of interesting. I think kind of the wild card is, even though they're kind of downplaying a little bit, I think Julia Hart, the injury that she sustained, like, she'll tough it out, but I think that she's probably a little bit more injured than maybe they let on. And I think maybe they'll just give Willow the win here to just give Julia a little bit of a rest. I think that plays into it as well. And who knows, maybe Mercedes is going to get involved a little bit, although my best guess, based on past experience with AEW, is that Mercedes just kind of comes out at the ends and just kind of claps or something like that. That's probably what will happen. But we'll see. I think they'll go the simple way, and they'll go with Willow.
Right. Yeah, you know what? I'll go and agree with you guys. So it's 4 for Willow and 0 for Julia Hart. I definitely think the way they've been setting things up recently, it makes sense. To all your points about Willow setting it up, against Mercedes, that seems to be a given. I would like to see, because even if you mentioned Amer, if Julia Hart is actually a little more injured than she is, I'd like to see them her focus with Sky Blue as a tag team.
I agree.
I'm still, and I've said this 1,000 times on here, I still think there's going to be a tournament, and I think this is a great time to start putting some of these teams together. And I really like that team, and I think they could really concentrate and actually be a really good team, the two of them, of Sky Blue and Julia Hart. So I kind of hope that they're going to concentrate on them a little more, especially if they're going to the route of having a tag team tournament to decide new ladies championships. That'd be great. So I guess we'll see. But I agree with you guys on that match. And so why don't we stick with the ladies, and we'll talk about the next the championship match, which is for the AEW World Women's Championship, which is held currently by Timeless Toni Storm, and she will be defending the title against Thunder Rosa. Adam, who has this one, and how do you see it playing out?
Timeless Toni Storm continues to be the best thing on television every week. I have no doubt about that. The fact of this character, how it's going about, how people are loving it, the fact that they're incorporating the host of Turner Classic Movies into all the segments, the story she's having with Maria May, and now Maria's former partner from Stardom. I keep forgetting her name, Mina. So it's like Sakakura or something. I keep forgetting her name, but if someone can find that name for me, that'd be great. But there's a story there too, and I don't know if it's going to be a love triangle story featuring the women's world champion, because she's very, very kissable on Maria May, and then Maria May's ex-Stardom partner came in and gave her a big kiss. So I'm like, are they doing some kind of LLS going on, lesbian love story? There you go, some littering.
There you
But
go.
I don't know. But the fact that I think this is just a padding match for Timeless Tony Storm against Thunder Rosa, a former champion herself, I think there's just padding on her title defense and everything like that. Because in the true sense, I think the one person a lot of fans still want to see come back and get that title back that didn't have a run that they wanted to was Jamie Hayter.
Mhm.
I think that's one person I think a lot of people want back to kind of get that title run that she never had. And you've got all these other women you can include in that title, situation after this, after Timeless wins it. I mean, you reintroduce Britt Baker. She could come back, get involved in that picture, or like I said, Jamie Hayter comes back. And I mean, that sets up big matches for both Double or Nothing and all in. So I think with this one, I think I'm going to go with Timeless Tony Storm just because she's just great television every week. I just can't get enough of the chin up, tits out, and watch for the shoe.
Yeah, I agree. Good points as usual. Connor?
For me, I think this match is going to be a really good match. I wish they would have built this story like they did Tony and Deanna. Tony and Deanna had a really good story, I thought. They had, normally the women's division, all they get is backstage promos. But with Tony and Deanna, they actually gave them a lot of in-ring promo time, which the women don't get hardly at all. I wish they would have incorporated that in this story as well because, this is Thunder Rosa's first title match back from being injured, the title that she never lost. I wish they would have made it a bigger deal than seeming just an afterthought, which we haven't really seen much of a story. I mean, we saw a little sit-down interview thing on the stage or whatever. Then we've seen Thunder Rosa on Collision. It's a very last-minute build. I wish they would have done more. But I think Deanna's going to win. I mean, Tony Storm's going to win, not Deanna. I'm surprised they didn't make this a triple threat match because on Dynamite, Thunder Rosa kind of pushed Deanna to the side a little bit. I'm surprised they didn't make that a triple threat. But I think this match is going to be a really good match. But I got Tony Storm retaining her championship.
All right, so we're 2-0 when it comes to Tony and Amer. How do you thoughts?
Yeah, let's make it 3. I think I don't quite know how to say it. I think that unfortunately, kind of like the other women's match that we just discussed, the booking of the women's division has just been really, really simplistic. Let's just kind of leave it at that. And Tony Storm is one of Tony Khan's favorites, and not without good reason. So I think that's just how it's going to go. Thunder, I agree with Connor completely. I wish there had been more of a build to this. There definitely should have been. Who knows? This is a kind of match that might change up a little bit based on what happens tomorrow at Dynamite, right? They could, if they wanted to, turn it into a triple threat, I suppose. But even if they were to do that or to do something else, I think they just kind of go with the simple route and they just keep it, with Tony Storm. And hopefully it leads to something better, like a Jamie Hayter rematch or, a Britt Baker rematch going forward. I think that would be great for AEW, but Tony wins.
All right. No, I'm going to go ahead and agree with you guys and make this 4-0 for Tony. I don't see her losing. I don't think it makes sense for her to lose right now. I do think, because I know with when Thunder Rosa had to basically relinquish the belt, right, because of injury and didn't quite get the run that she should have had, or at least the opportunity to lose the belts in a better fashion. So I think maybe some of these are kind of giving her a chance. Some of those championship matches that she should have had, if it wasn't for injury, because again, she was a champion, right? So they did run with her and felt that she was deserving of that championship. And I think she's making a bit of a run. She seems to getting back in that groove. So I do think it's a worthwhile opponent for Tony. I think it's a good win for Tony to help build it up. And I don't think she's losing the belt before All In London. So I think she's definitely going to have it, because why wouldn't you? I mean, I think she'd be a great attraction there, and you could really set up a great match. I mean, we've talked about over and over the different possibilities even for that. So I think they're going to keep it, keep the build up, and again, I agree. Tony's going to have the win. So we're all in agreement on that one. And as we move over to the men's, let's start with the the trios match. We have the TNT champion. We have Adam Copeland alongside Eddie Kingston and Mark Briscoe taking on the House of Black. Now, would this be under house rules? Is that have we seen that recently?
Don't know.
You know, when was the last time we saw the House of Black?
When they had the trios titles.
Well, I think
Right.
Julia just used it against maybe Layla Hirsch or Julia Hart used it here recently, a house rules match. But as far as house of Malachi and them, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Adam, we'll start with you on this one.
As much as I like to see the momentum of House of Black, I see this one's tough for me because it's a throw up. Because you keep this team of the three champions, which are the TNT champion Adam Copeland, the New Japan Open never open weight Eddie Kingston, and then the new Ring of Honor World Championship Briscoe. Or Mark Briscoe, sorry. But I'd love to see the House of Black upset the team of those champs. And here's how I would see it happening. Eddie Kingston has recently been losing a lot. I'm not going to deny that. He's been losing a lot. Even in the Windy City Riot show, he lost. And so I see him taking the pin in this match and kind of like walking out on Copeland and Briscoe being upset that he cost them the match, against House of Black. That's how I would love to see it. But we're going to be realistic here. Since Copeland has been signed to AEW, he's been on a roll, and they're not going to lose that role. And it's the same with now Mark Briscoe. And so I feel like this is a win for Briscoe, Copeland, and Kingston, even though I would love to see House of Black win.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. Connor, what are your thoughts?
Either way this match ends, I hope it leads to a Malachi Black and Edge singles match. I'm tired of them always doing the same old House of Black. They've proven themselves in trios. They've done that, been there. Malachi Black should have already won a singles title in AEW. Should have won it since 2021, 22, 23. Like all these years, he hasn't won one. This match, I would rather Eddie Kingston, Edge, and Briscoe win, and then at least double or nothing Malachi versus Edge for the TNT Championship, and Malachi beats Edge. Because Edge has nothing to lose. He's lost big in his career. He's not he can afford to take a loss. And with like Buddy Matthews or Brody King helping Malachi win, because I really want to see Malachi stay in AEW. I really want to see him succeed in AEW because he's one of the most talented individuals in and outside the ring. Very great storyteller, very great trainer. Like look at Julia Hart. Like he has his own wrestling school. So I look at Julia Hart and I imagine how all his students look. Like if he can really coach someone like Julia Hart good, how does his rest of his roster look on his school wrestling academy school thing? But I'm gonna go with Edge, Kingston, and Briscoe, and I'm hoping because Malachi has been doing a little bit more singles work. He won against Brian Keith on Collision, and then he won against Daniels on not Brian Danielson, but Christopher Daniels on Rampage. So they have been using him a little bit more in singles. So hopefully that would make a great pay-per-view match, Edge and Malachi. The storytelling, the match, that would be really good. And those two have never went against each other. I think Edge mentioned that in his promo 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I got Edge, Kingston, and Briscoe winning.
Amer.
I'm thinking the way both of you guys are thinking. It would be a really, really good win for the House of Black. But the only thing that kind of confuses me about this is because I read today where Adam Copeland basically said that I could try and find it, but it sort of implied that his program with Christian was kind of over. And I was kind of thinking to myself, yeah, what the heck even happened with that? Like, we haven't seen the patriarchy in 3 weeks? Like, I don't think we've seen them since the pay-per-view, right? Like, so Edge is kind of like in this thing where, he obviously he gave that rah-rah promo a little while ago. Again, I maybe it's just a cynic in me. I'm just with you guys and saying they'll go with the simplistic booking and just, have, the good guys win, and, Adam Copeland and his two compatriots are kind of, on the rise a little bit right now in terms of the line going up and the win-loss records. And, I do definitely hope it sets up some good matches, as we go. I think Adam Copeland against Malachi Black would be amazing. I totally agree with you. But, yeah, I'm with you guys. Let's go 3-0. The champions win.
Yeah, no, again, good points, Amer, and I'm going to agree with you guys. And we'll go 4-0.
Yeah. They say WWE is predictable, huh? Anyway.
Right. Again, exactly. I agree with your points. I'd love to see House of Black actually win. I always think when I see these type of matches, this is the best way for a championship to get a loss without a loss.
Yes.
You know what I mean, right? So they don't lose their belt and they don't lose. It doesn't affect their win-loss record as an individual. So I'd like to see that. But again, like you said, how can you have a team of 3 champions and lose, right? Especially when they're really trying to push these championships. And I know Briscoe, he lost a ton of matches kind of leading up. So he put his work in. So I don't see him getting beat again, right? Because it's just going to diminish the ROH title if he loses. So again, I'm going to go... I really hope something goes on with House of Black. I think there's so much potential. I think we all know there's so much potential with that group. And you know what? This match, where are the Trios champions? They're not even on this pay-per-view, right? So
yeah, I was thinking it's the Acclaimed still, right? Or is it the?
See, you had to second guess or ask that, and I did the same thing last week, going, "Oh yeah, they're still the Trios champion." See, that's what's happening to it. They got to get the belts off those guys. Get those, and I said, Amer, last week, when Adam and I were talking, I said, break those guys up, get the Acclaimed back in as just a tag team like they were. Billy Gunn kind of go on his way or whatever, or just have him as the manager, but move the Trios championship, get rid of the pink titles, get them back to being a serious, set of titles. That's what in my opinion there. So
it's a shame. It really is a shame because what's lacking. Like we're talking about all these things. Boy, it would be great if they did this, but unfortunately, and I don't mean to sidebar anything, but
no,
what's lacking here. It has been lacking a long time in AEW, in my opinion, is when they're thinking about booking. There's never that question. Okay, then what? Right? And that was a complaint that's been leveled against Vince Russo. Right? He would have an idea and say, okay, we're going to do this. And then somebody would ask him, well, then what? And he'd kind of freeze, like, I don't know. Right? Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, so much of AEW, you're right. There's so much potential here. Here we are just chatting about it. And we're like, oh, that's something you can do next. But that never seems to materialize. And it's sad. But anyway.
I think the best case scenario is do this match, Acclaim Billy Gunn and Bullet Club Gold, get it over with, have Bullet Club Gold win. And then I feel like build a story with Bullet Club Gold versus Blackpool Combat Club, and have BCC take those titles. There's something, they got the trios teams to do it. So they just need to get out.
See, you're doing a then what, right?
Well, if I was in charge, I would have done that, but.
Because we'd all be thinking then what, and unfortunately I think that's what a lot of frustration is, with other YouTubers on AEW. Like we're all thinking then what, but Tony Khan doesn't always seem to be thinking that way. But regardless,
I mean, I agree. Like if you think about, there is actually they need actually a trios like tournament. There's enough teams now. I mean, you've got, if you look at the elite,
that's certainly a good thing.
There's 3 of them on the elite. There's got Dark Order. There's got 3 there. House of Black. There's 3. The Acclaim with Daddy Ass. They've got 3. You've got
Undisputed Kingdom.
Kingdom. You potentially have Death Triangle if Ray Phoenix ever gets back. I mean, I know I'm missing someone else as well as a faction or a group for
kind of Dark Order.
I mentioned Dark Order there, but you mean there's enough. There is enough there. There is a lot of these things. The ones if you even include the the Murder Hawk there with
You know,
Yeah, the Righteous.
Righteous. So again, you've got another 3 guys. You have
Somebody has to lose in the first round.
you got Brian Cage and
yes,
Yeah.
right. So
Well,
again,
we just did a tag team tournament, right? And there's enough random guys sitting around that you could have a trio.
there's so many 3-man tags that you can do so much with, and it just feels like it's doing nothing.
It is, yeah. And you know, the belts can either be like, sometimes people say, well, the belt is a prop, bro. Yeah, but you know, the belt can be a prop, it can be a crutch, or it can be a storytelling device. And a lot of the times, and WWE is guilty of this too, the belt is just a crutch, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree.
I
So
think now it's becoming more and more a storytelling device, but it needs to be seen.
yeah, we're in agreement there, Davis, for sure. And I know we're going to get that. I know we're going to get that match, and it's inevitable. So as we move on to the next one, let's talk about the AEW International Championship, which we have the challenger Kyle O'Reilly going against the champion Roderick Strong. And Adam, how you feel about this one?
I love it. I love that Kyle O'Reilly's back. I think he's such an underrated wrestler. His program he had with Adam Cole towards the end there of NXT Black and Gold was just great storytelling. He's very underrated. His technical work is great. I'm very excited to see him on a pay-per-view and actually getting a chance at an individual title and coming against his former friend Roderick Strong. Honestly, I'm going to go with Roderick here. He just won the title off Orange Cassidy. I think he's got a lot of longevity running with that title. Think this can carry on for a while as well after, this match happens, because obviously Kyle O'Reilly can figure out where do we go from here. If I didn't beat Roderick for the title, he questions himself whether he should challenge again, start building back up in the ranks, or does he join Undisputed Kingdom? He's got that thought of, if I can't beat him, I'll join him, and so I think that's another thing I wanted to talk about, because when you were mentioning, Matt, about, the trios titles and people who you could put together that can run with these titles, and I mentioned Undisputed Kingdom, they haven't really done much with this group. This is probably the most disappointing thing I've ever seen on television, as a group that doesn't get utilized, that doesn't have that story of they showed up, they destroyed the former champion, and then, and like Amer said, then what? It's nothing has happened since then. You had Wardlow come up short on the world title against Samoa Joe. I mean, you have, Matt and I keep forgetting. Yes, you got them as Ring of Honor tag champs. They don't do anything except walk around with those titles. I mean, Roderick is the only one doing anything with that international championship since he's won it. He's made it intriguing because now he's defending against a former friend. And obviously Adam Cole being hurt still, and don't know when he's going to be back, fully healed. But I just want to see something happen with this, because it's gone cold. And so, but kind of derailing and coming back to this, I do see Roderick retaining the title, either by just like he did against Orange Cassidy, just pure domination and just beating the hell out of Kyle O'Reilly to where O'Reilly can't fight back, or some shenanigans with Wardlow, as his job is now to make sure everyone in Undisputed Kingdom keeps their titles. But I'm going to call Roderick Strong retaining.
All right. Connor, do you agree or disagree with Adam?
We're on a streak. I'm going Roderick Strong. Tonight is going to be a really good match. I was there at Revolution when Kyle O'Reilly returned. I didn't know that was him, because no one had seen him for months. It has the hair and like that. But as I've said many and many a times on this podcast, that before Kyle O'Reilly got injured in 2022, he was going on a really good singles run. He won that battle royal. He almost beat Moxley with the broken neck. He broke his neck that night, and he did a battle royal and went against Moxley. That's pretty hard to do. At some points, I never thought he'd come back, because it had been 2 years, and AEW had even thought that he would never come back. But I'm glad to see him in matches and getting to go against Roderick Strong. Because since Roderick Strong's been in AEW, he hasn't been around at all. Last time we've seen him was in 2020. That's a good question. The last time we saw him, Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and O'Reilly made one-off appearance. But Roderick Strong wasn't around. So this match should be a really good match. I think Roderick Strong should retain because he just won it. And this is actually his first title defense since winning it. He won it at Revolution. This is his first title defense as a champion. He's had a eliminator matches. They're not really title defenses. But I think I think Kyle O'Reilly would be a good international champion someday. Any title, really. TNT, international. I think that they have a really good – they got a lot of momentum that can go off with this if they execute right. But, if Roderick Strong wins, what does Kyle O'Reilly do? Does he join the Undisputed Kingdom? Does he get back in some matches and get his wins back up to get right back at that title? We'll see, I guess. But this is one of the matches I'm looking forward to.
Hamer, are you going to agree with the guys here? Or?
I am, but I'm going to go out on a little bit of a limb here. I'm thinking because correct me if I'm wrong, but Kyle O'Reilly got beat up pretty bad on Dynamite last week, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm predicting that he'll come out and have a good showing tomorrow, and then go into the pay-per-view, and then, as traditional booking goes, the person who looks good the night before, ends up losing. But here's what I'm thinking. I don't think Kyle O'Reilly goes toward or gravitates towards the Undisputed Kingdom. He's going to move towards somebody else who needs a friend. Who needs a friend right now? Orange Cassidy needs a friend. He just lost a friend, didn't he? Right? So there's kind of a natural fit there, right? Because Orange Cassidy's not on this card, he's going to show up someplace, right? So if he's out there and gives Kyle O'Reilly a bit of a hand in the match, or at least supports him at the end, and and saving him from a beatdown, maybe from the Undisputed Kingdom or something like that. I think I think they're going to head somewhere in that direction to kind of help build Kyle O'Reilly up. That's my thinking. But Roderick Strong is winning the match.
I'm gonna have to agree with all of you guys again.
How about that?
Again, do we all think alike, or it's just predictable, right? Like you said,
I think it's predictable.
I definitely think Roderick's going to keep this belt. I think he's the focal point. He is the one that's basically leading the Undisputed Kingdom right now. If it wasn't for him, where would this group be? I think he's a good champion. He's a great wrestler. He's entertaining. He's grown out that mustache. I swear he's like dyeing it blonde. Because if you look at it, it's almost like more like it's blonder. Anyways, I think he's going to be a champion, and I think he's going to hold that title for a while. I think it's going to be a great match. Now, do we see this as a clean finish, or do we see this as interference with that helps Roderick get the win over Kyle O'Reilly? So that way it doesn't really hurt Kyle O'Reilly, if not as much if it's a interference.
Yeah, Wardlow's
I think it goes that way.
Yeah, Wardlow's not on the card, and they pretty made it. Well, AEW goes everywhere at the booking, but the right thing the finish should be is Wardlow helped Roderick Strong win because Adam Cole told him to make sure everyone retains their belts since he lost against Joe. Like that was kind of his punishment, I guess. But Wardlow helping Strong beat the finish.
I just as we're talking there, we're kind of saying where could Kyle O'Reilly go, or what would we how would we fit in anywhere? I think the way his style is, I think he could be a fit for the BCC. I think he's that. I mean, I like the way he wrestles. He's got that international appeal. He's a great technical wrestler as well. I like him more as a heel. I thought he thrived more as a heel. His theatrics are better as a heel as well. You like to see someone like that, get his beat down because he can be a real dick, which I like. I like that. So I wonder. I just don't see him continuing to being a single babyface for that long. I think he's going to go with a group. I don't really see him personally. I don't really see him matching up with Orange Cassidy. I get your point why you might think that, but I see him more with another faction. I would like to see him. I think I would take out Wheeler Yuta, get rid of Wheeler, and put Kyle O'Reilly in the BCC. But that's just my opinion there. And so again, we're 4-4. We're 4, I guess 4-0. We're all in agreement on the matches so far. And so we'll take it to the next one, which is the AEW Continental Championship, where we have the Challenger Pack going up against the champion Kanishige
No.
Okada.
Yeah.
Did I butcher that?
Kinosuke is Takeshita.
Inosuke.
This is Okada. Kazuchika.
Okay, Okada. I'm just gonna go
Whatever.
with Okada.
Okay.
Start butchering his name to death all the time. So this is an interesting one. I think we'll probably be all in agreement on this one, but Adam, you can start.
Let me just say, this one is about to be one of the best matches on the card. And this is also including the Ospreay Danielson match and the world title match. This one has the potential to actually steal the show, even outdoing Danielson and Ospreay for best matches on the card and maybe matches of the year candidates.
Oh.
But I do see this going. My God, this is going to be. I'm just very excited for this match, just because I love Pac. The reinvention of himself since he left the Neville character in WWE and coming over and just being the bastard Pac. He's more ruthless. He just swears. Like, you notice that the TV didn't bleep him when he came out on that stage to look at Okada. He said, he dropped the F-bomb and everything, that one episode of Dynamite. And, the whole beating up, last week on Dynamite, the Elite beating up, both FTR and Pac, So I do see this as a potential show stealer. And this is one of those matches that I'm actually going to be surprised at, that I'd love to see Pac win, because that would be great to see him get a singles title. But Okada just signed. Okada just won the title. He's holding on to that for a while. So I'm going to go Okada retaining in probably one of the better matches on the card. This match has potential to go about 20, 30 minutes. Maybe even longer. Who knows?
Now, is this a clean finish for Okada?
I think so. I think so. I think this is a dirty clean finish. So let me explain it that way. I think no one interferes, but Okada finds a way to kind of cheat to still win with nobody else helping. So he's still doing dirty, but he'll beat him without any assistance. For me, that's what I call a clean, dirty win. Because there's no interference, but he still did something heel-like to win. So,
yeah, the old Ric Flair, right?
Yeah.
Right. I think it's going to be a low blow, like you're saying. It's one of those that seems to be the go-to. Connor, are you in agreement?
Yeah, I got Okada. This match is going to be a really good match. I don't think Pac and Okada ever went against each other. I can't recall them ever going against each other, but I haven't seen them much. I've seen a lot of Okada matches, not as many as other people may have seen, but this match will be really good. I think Okada wins, but the next singles title that Pac wins will probably be the Continental Championship. That will probably be the next title Pac wins eventually. I think Pac will he will win that title eventually. But I think Okada just won it. The Young Bucks, we'll get into that later. Possibly when they're starting to heat up their heels, their heel runs, they might be getting a new member pretty soon. So if you're wanting to build that group up as one of the biggest heels on the show, I guess you'd want Okada to win. And he just won it. He won it. It's on Dynamite, right? It was the same night that Edge won the TNT Championship, I believe. Yeah, I got Okada winning this one, but it'll be a really good match, and I think it will be like Adam said, a dirty finish. It'll probably be like the referee not looking, he roll blows him, or he'll use a weapon real fast, or something like that. There'll be something like that, because realistically, I think Pac could probably beat him, but just to make Pac not look so weak and Okada look like the heel that he needs to be, I think that would be the finish.
Good points. And Aimer, are we agreeing with the boys?
I hate to do it. I went into this thinking, you know what? I want Pac to win, but again, it's just I want to scream out like, look, Okada loses nothing by losing this title, right?
Yeah.
What does it cost him really? Osprey doesn't have a title, and it doesn't affect him, right? But does Okada really need a title? But then I'm thinking, all right, well, but this is AEW, right? So I got to think in the direction that you guys are thinking. I think it might actually be cleaner than you guys think. I think I just want Pac to come out of this looking awesome. I think we all agree on that. He really needs to look awesome and then move who knows what the deal is going to be with Malachi Black. I wouldn't mind seeing Adam Copeland against Pac. That'd be all right with me. So there's lots of options. Like have Okada just go out there and make him look really, really good. And if they feel he really needs to keep that title, okay, yeah. But I think that's how it'll go. But man, I really want Pac to win this one.
Well, there is one thing that he will lose if he loses this match. He'll lose his 5-star Dave Meltzer rating.
I disagree with you on that. I think he could lose and still pull a 5-star. But
I don't know. Anyway, a pretty good liar. So
yeah.
You know what? Surprise, surprise, boys. I'm going to have to agree with you all again. I don't see Okada losing it. They just put the belt on him. They're bringing him in here as a big deal. I actually think it will really damage him if he loses in AEW anyways. Maybe if you're a fan and you've been watching him his whole career, but in terms of what they're trying to build in AEW with him and having as part of the elite and having part of the upper management, it's building up the elite too much. You're just going to kill it. I think what you're going to see, and I'm sure as we're going to talk to the next one, I just think the elite is going to have more gold, and it doesn't make sense to lose one of the belts if you're going to bring another set of belts into the elite. So I think they're going to have all of them, and they're going to have it, and as be the team, the upper management that holds the championships. I think it's going to be a great match. I think there's going to be a ton of close calls. I mean, Pac doesn't put on a bad match. Can you name one bad match that Pac's ever had, except for the one that he potentially gets hurt in? But he's amazing. There's a lot of potential for him, and I still think that Pac will end up having a championship, whether it be the Continental Championship or the International. I think he'll have one of those belts. But I think this is going to be a great match, and I agree with the comment there. So we're all in agreement. We all think it's gonna be a fantastic match, and you know what? It could surprise. My heart is thinking the dirty, clean finish, as Adam mentioned, but if he can do and pull off a real clean win, that will really do wonders, I think, in terms of his character, and showing how serious they're going with Okada if he does a clean finish on Pac. So, but we'll see on that. So again, we're all in agreement, and so we'll go over to the next match here, which we have for the AEW World Tag Team Championship.
Here we go.
We've got actually they are both challengers in this one. We've got FTR going up against the Young Bucks, which will determine the new AEW Tag Team Champions.
In a ladder match.
Sorry?
Ladder match, yes.
In a ladder match.
In a ladder match, yes. Sorry, I forgot to say that. The printing is really small on the little GIF that I'm looking at here. But Adam, who is walking away with the belts?
The egos keep running wild in AEW. The EVPs are going to win this match. I think this is where you see them pulling out all stops. Maybe you even see Okada make a appearance, try to help them out, to where Pat comes out, tries to even the odds, but it's too late, and the Young Bucks win the tag titles. I mean, this basically is, let's think of it this way. The Young Bucks and Tony Khan came up with the idea for Sting to retire as the champion. Sting wanted to drop the titles to the Young Bucks, but they said, no, we have to put you over because you're a legend. This is the Young Bucks getting their flowers back from Revolution. This is them patting themselves on the back, saying we're good EVPs. We deserve a tag title run again. You know, we're going to be three-time tag team champions, the first ones here in this company. It's going to be great. So, and there's so many routes you can go with the Young Bucks winning the tag titles. Obviously, I mean, I feel also, and here's the sad part. I feel also this is the time where FTR is kind of winding down. I think their contracts are going to be up in a little bit. I think almost at the end of this year.
Well,
I don't know if they want to. What is that?
They signed 4-year deals last year, so it'll be 2027.
Oh, okay.
You know, a while ago.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was they signed another, like, just a 1 year. I didn't know they signed a 3-year. But yeah, no, I think you go the route of Young Bucks winning. FTR, I think, maybe takes a little bit of a break. They got a lot going on. They've been doing a lot too, so I think they've earned a good break for themselves to spend time with their families, especially Dax. Dax definitely deserves some time with his family and everything like that. So I think Young Bucks win it, and there's so many stories you can go with it. I mean, they have burned bridges with a lot of tag teams and people in AEW. I mean, you can run it back against Private Party. You can do it against Top Flight. You can have all those tag matches. But this is just basically we're going to win the titles. Okada's going to have his title. This basically just brings it back down to, does Adam Page come back? Kenny Omega come back? And I keep forgetting the guy who was Kenny Omega's tag team partner in New Japan. I keep forgetting his name. Yeah, Ibushi. Yeah. I think he comes in. Then you got those three against the New Elite. I mean, there's the story right there, too. It writes itself. So with this match, I'm going to go with the Young Bucks, the EVPs, winning the tag titles.
You know what? Again, I will agree with you guys. It doesn't it completely makes sense. All your points make sense.
Have we gone yet?
Yeah, Connor and Emer hadn't gone yet. You're jumping ahead, Matt.
I did. I got Adam, you know what? Because I'm just used to you and I talking now. I forget there's anyone else in the room. See what happens when no one else joins the call? Connor, let's go with you.
Yeah, I don't. Young Bucks are not when they're good tag team. My favorites. FTR is my favorite tag team, but it makes more sense for Young Bucks to win than FTR because, if FTR wins, they don't really. With the Young Bucks win, they have more stuff to go off of. But no matter who wins, the tag team tournament was a very good, somewhat of a reestablishment of the tag team division. We've seen Private Party back. We've seen Top Flight. We see the Infantry pull out an upset. We've seen Top Flight pulled out an upset that wasn't supposed to happen, so it kind of was a real life upset in the ring. But I think the Young Bucks will win this match. I don't think it will be Okada helping them win, or he might try to help them win, but I think it's going to be Jack Perry who's going to probably be the one to help them win. But they could do like Daniel Garcia, like Okada coming out. Daniel Garcia tries to stop him, but then there's that fourth person, Jack Perry. But I think this might be a really good match. Young Bucks normally put on really good ladder matches. If anyone remembers Young Bucks and Lucha Bros, 2019 All Out, they had a really, really, really good match. I think the Young Bucks win, but no matter who wins, I hope they consistently book the tag titles like they used to be in AEW. Like before, like 2019 through 2022, like the tag team titles were like one of the main things on the show, and that's what I liked about AEW because at the time, WWE was just an afterthought, but in AEW they made it a big deal. With teams like Young Bucks, Pride and Powerful, Best Friends, and they still got the teams to do it. There's no excuse not having enough teams because, as reports today, Motor City Machine Guns are possibly coming to AEW pretty soon. So they got them coming in. They got really good teams to come in. They got good teams signed. So, but I think Young Bucks win, and hopefully they consistently book the tag team division good.
Hamer.
You stole my thunder a little bit, Connor. I'm calling it right now, and you can practically take it to the bank. Jack Perry is pulling those belts down off the ladder and hanging the Bucks. Yep, that's it.
Wouldn't it be funny? Would it be funny if there was a third team and Jack Perry pulled him and Jack Perry and Luchasaurus got back together, but they didn't tell them that there was a third team in it. That would be Christian Cage recruits Jack Perry.
I mean, that would be great, but that would require you to do a kind of a then what. No, I think it's that simple. Like Jack Perry just pulls it down, hands it to his buddies, they celebrate, and it's a new day. Yes, it is.
Do you think that Jack Perry is going to be the next member of the Elite? Is that what you guys are thinking?
I think so.
It's possible.
Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting. Never even crossed my mind that.
I think they're going to see it through, right? I mean, this whole thing, and again, we all don't want to go too far down this road, but it's all been about egos, right? So, I mean, where else can they go with this, right? What I've seen from the Young Bucks, and I'll give them credit. I'm not a big fan of theirs, but I'll give them credit. I think that they have tried in their own way to make these heel EVP characters work, right? They need to be produced. They need to be coached, and it's kind of not coming together fully. But I think they are trying. So I see their mentality as being that's how we can be real heels. Mm-hmm. That's why I see it going down that way.
Great. You know what? Again, well, now I'll say I agree with all. I really say I agree with all you guys. I don't see that. I don't see the Bucks losing. It doesn't make sense for them not to have the titles based on everything you guys were saying, based on where the Elite is going. It completely all makes sense. So is this? So if they win, will this? Because I know this is the fourth match with FTR. So is this like a 2-2?
Third, I think, isn't it? I think
this is the fourth.
They went against each other at Forbidden Door 2020. Then a Dynamite, and then an All In. This will be a fourth match. And
yeah,
they're 2-1. So if Young Bucks win, they'll be 2-2.
Okay, so that makes sense. So again, we're all in agreement on that one. And the next we'll talk about, which could be main event 1 or main event 2. We're all excited and feel like this is going to be the best possible match on the card, and could be a candidate for match of the year possibly, as we have Bryan Danielson versus Will Ospreay, which I think is going to be a dynamite match. Adam, who gets this one?
Match of the year candidate right here. I think this one is definitely going to be a show stealer. I compared it to the Okada Pac match, but I think this one, if it goes the way it should, and they both just follow to a T in the ring and kind of flow well together, and the match looks. Sorry, there's a gnat in my face. And the match flows well, and they can both just go with each other. This is definitely match of the year. I think for this, I think we're seeing Bryan Danielson we're seeing him at the end of his career where he wants to put people over. He wants to have these dream matches, but he doesn't technically need the wins. He's more so of pushing the talent that he feels deserves to be pushed. And if you have someone like a Bryan Danielson saying, let's push this person to the moon, you know that person's going to get pushed to the moon. And Will Ospreay is that talent. And Will Ospreay, even though he's been in the match for a long time, or not in the match, but in the industry for a while, I think he's at the peak of his career right now, to where I see him pulling the win out. Very good, clean match. This match is going to go 30, 40 minutes tops. I mean, that's just a banger of a match right there. It's going to go back and forth. And I think you're going to see Ospreay win, and you're going to see Bryan Danielson shake his hand in the middle of the ring. Yep. You may see a Don Callis family attack Will Ospreay, and then the Blackpool Combat Club come help clear them out to kind of help Will Ospreay. So I think that's a good setup for a good feud between Don Callis family and the Blackpool Combat Club. I mean, you can set that up because right now the Blackpool Combat Club doesn't really have a feud with a lot of people or with a group at all. And I think Don Callis family would be a great start for it. and kind of gives you the term of getting Ospreay away from that Don Callis family and kind of being on his own. Because I think Will Ospreay will do so much better solo. So, but I will go Will Ospreay winning this match.
Well, interesting points. I forgot about bringing in and what that means in terms of Don Callis' family or the BCC. Yeah, it could be a great rivalry. There's a lot of good players in that. That'd be a lot of fun to watch. Connor, who do you have for this one?
I got Will Ospreay. This match should be a really, really good match. I feel like this match should start the show because you got the world title match. Because the world title match is main eventing, and you want this match to have a good crowd reaction. So this starting the show and the world title match ending the show would be perfect. But I think Ospreay wins. If Bryan Danielson couldn't beat Eddie Kingston, he sure can't beat Will Ospreay. But Will Ospreay has beaten in AEW, Jericho, Omega, just like that's two of AEW's biggest names in history. And beating Bryan Danielson will just move him up even more. There's no reason that he should lose. Tomorrow he's going against Claudio Castagnoli, which is probably going to win that. I think he's definitely going to win this match, but it'll be a very good match. And I hope they do something at the end with Don Callis' family breaking him away from that group. I think that they need to break him away from that. And Don Callis' family and BCC will be something very different. I do hope that they get the United Empire back together whenever Mark Davis gets back from injury. And eventually Ospreay and Aussie Open go for those trios titles, which they teased that when they had the tag team title, the trios division tournament in 2022. This should be a really good match, and will probably at the end of the year be a match of the year candidate.
Amer.
Yeah, for all the reasons you guys said, I don't need to repeat it. But Danielson is here to make other people look good. There's no question about it. And I think we'll probably get a glimpse of it tomorrow night. I think there'll probably be just like a face-off. Like Ospreay will certainly win tomorrow night. I don't think that's really too much of a spoiler or anything like that. But then at the end, of course, it'll all be about a stare down between kind of him and Danielson and setting up the pay-per-view. That's pretty obvious. I certainly hope they go in the direction that I think everybody thinks that they should and set up the BCC, with against the Don Callis family. That just makes sense, right? I mean, I think they've already kind of gone towards that road a little bit, not for a while, but we have seen little glimpses of that here and there, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Like, did I just imagine that?
No, we've seen Moxley and Hobbs a little bit.
Yeah, we've seen little things here and there. So it won't be totally new, and it's a simple thing, and those guys will be down for it. So yeah,
I think I'm in agreement with all of you guys again. I think Will Ospreay wins it. I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities with this one. I know AEW likes to pull out the go with they wrestle to a draw. I think they're probably overused that now, right? That's happened too many times. I think Danielson's been in a couple of those ones. The time limit's expired. So I thought, again, they could use that if they weren't sure, who to put over. It's a tough one. Who, are we going to have interference run-ins? Because at the BCC, other than that, none of them are on the card. So except for Brian, right? So no one else is fighting. It'd be kind of interesting to see what happens.
I don't see that happening. I think the focus is match of the year, right? I mean that's what this is all about. That's what both of those guys want, and you can't really do that if there's going to be interference, right? There'll be stuff towards at the end after the match, sure.
Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah, no. I think you're right. This deserves a clean match with the talent in the ring, and I think you're right. They'd both say, "No, we can do this. We need to prove they have something to prove against each other." Right. It'll be a fun match, and so we'll finish off the Dynasty pay-per-view as we talk about the heavyweight championship match, which we have the challenger of Swerve Strickland versus Samoa Joe, the champion. And is there any stipulation on this one, guys, or is this a straight up
Straight up
match?
Mhm.
Adam, what direction is this one going in?
This one is a hard one to figure out because there's so much momentum behind Swerve Strickland right now and him winning the title. I think this would be huge for him. As much as I would love to see Joe continue his reign because he's such a good company champion, he speaks very well. He's a veteran in the game. He's a good locker room leader. But I think he also understands the longevity of giving back and giving flowers to people that work their asses off, as he was one of them. He worked through the TNA ranks, then he worked through WWE ranks, and now he's AEW ranks, and so I think he's one of those veterans that is like, you know what, this kid deserves their flowers, and think we should give it to him. So as much as a lot of people would say Joe, I'm going to go Swerve on this one. I think it's Swerve's time, and you can go so many routes with Swerve as champion. Obviously, you could have Joe redeem his rematch. Obviously, you could have Adam Cole get involved as far as you took the title that was supposed to be mine, and Joe was holding it for me, blah, blah, blah. You could tell a whole story there. I mean, you could even have the return of MJF, who really wants his title back. The longest reigning AEW champion in history. There's so many ways. You can have an Adam Page come back, feud with Swerve, because that was probably one of Adam Page's best feuds in his career was Swerve Strickland. Mm-hmm. So there's so many ways you can go with Swerve as champion, and he's just so charismatic. The crowd's behind him. He's got a great manager in Prince Nana. I think I think it's his time right now to win that title and let him have a decent run, see what he can do with it. So I think I'm going to go with Swerve getting the win on Sunday.
All right, good points. And Connor, are you in agreement?
This is the first match that we're going to disagree on, I think. I like Swerve. Revolution. Hangman does everything to cause Swerve. The only reason he tapped out was so he didn't win. As he said, he'd rather die before Swerve wins the title. Hangman not getting involved in somewhat of a capacity doesn't make sense. If he just tapped out only for him to win, for the next pay-per-view, Swerve to just win it like that. I mean, I don't know how they're supposed to go off of that. So it would make better sense if, Adam Page costs Swerve again, because then it furthers their story. And they can have that final rubber match. I do think Swerve's going to win it eventually, but it feels like just now Swerve's really getting in his groove as world champion, especially with this program with Swerve. The promo that we've seen, I think it was a contract signing, where Swerve really looked like he's finally getting in his groove as a world champion, being the vocal point of the show. On Wednesday, he opened the show.
You mean Joe?
What did I say?
You keep saying Swerve as champion.
Joe opened the show. Well, technically they both did. Joe opened the show. He closed the show. It feels like he's getting in that groove as being world champion. I think Adam Cole's going to be cleared after Dynasty, or he's probably already cleared. He just hasn't wrestled. His timetable is up, or maybe it's longer expected, but he hasn't been on TV in a little bit, so he should be back anytime soon. But I think it'd be further the story, besides just forgetting about it, because if Hangman does nothing, they just forgot about what he did at the last pay-per-view. But I think Hangman costing Swerve and Joe winning makes more sense. But I think Swerve will win the title because basically like Cody Rhodes, the longer you can continue the story, the longer you can build up to it. And it's not like Swerve is going to lose any momentum because Swerve and Hangman can put on a really good story and match. because if his momentum's just going to die not winning it, how is it going to continue with it? So I got Joe winning.
Gotcha. Amer, how do you feel?
How do I feel? All this time I've listened to people say, yeah, it's going to be Swerve's time, and I totally agree with Adam's point about, Joe will be unselfish and say, yeah, give it to Swerve. Something in the back of my gut that I can't really explain just kind of says, nah, Joe's winning this for some reason that I can't quite put together. I like the reason, obviously the reason of having Paige interfere makes a lot of sense. I would like to see that because that is good storytelling. I don't know, just a gut thing, which unfortunately I don't really have a lot of good reasons for. I'm thinking Joe is going to win this one and maybe set up a rematch for Double or Nothing, maybe in a cage where, Adam Page is, not able to interfere, perhaps. I don't know. But my gut just says Joe.
Hangman's going to come underneath the ring and call Swerve again.
Oh, God. Okay, so we have Amer. You're going with Joe. Connor, did you say Joe?
Yeah, I'm going Joe. Yeah.
Adam, you're going Swerve. I'm going to have to break the tie. I'm going to go with Swerve on this one as well. Agree with Adam.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Now, I also say that because based on all our other predictions, we have predicted that all the other championships will remain with the holders, except for the Bucks. We're going to get a new championship.
And Willow.
And we're saying Willow. Okay, well that kind of kills my point.
But that's still only one title change on the card amongst like 7 or 6 other matches with titles.
So that's why I've been thinking. I think it's Swerve's time. I think they're going to ride the hot hand. I love Joe. If Swerve wasn't so hot right now, I would think Joe, and I like Joe as a champion. I like what he's doing. I like everything you guys mentioned. I love when he comes out in his suit. He looks the part. He acts the part. He backs it up. He's not a guy that needs the title to make him. Like, he's one of these guys that can make a title just because of who he is and what he's done. So I'll be disappointed if he does lose, but at the same time, I understand why Swerve would be winning this one. I mean, I think the crowd will go ballistic if Swerve wins. So, and will Swerve, if Swerve wins, I know when you guys said that you think he's going to have a long title run. I don't know. He might, it could be short, and he could lose it, in London, and who knows what that match, again, the matches are unbelievable that we could think of right now as possibilities. So, but I think for this one, I think Swerve pulls it off. I think it makes sense. They want to have a bit of history, having the first AEW Black Champion, which they say make history, but they don't actually say it. So I kind of like how they say that without saying it. So yeah. I think it could make for good TV. I think it could make, in terms of the ratings, it makes sense to have it, especially the ratings. If you're looking at ratings, the next Dynamite where Swerve shows up at the championship, I think will be a higher viewed Dynamite as well, because now there's kind of an intrigue. So we'll see what happens. So again, we're 2 for 2 on that one. I think overall it'll be a great pay-per-view. We're all looking forward to it. And I'm going to pass it over to Connor. Connor, you want to maybe introduce, you've got a little clip that you want to play for the viewers.
Yeah, we haven't showed these in a little while. I try to spread these out so we don't run out of them. But me and he's part of the AEZ Canada. He's also one of the voices of AEW, AEZ Gaming. He's one of the voices of Mr. Jacobs. We filmed a bunch of random things and we just talked. We've shown 2. We haven't shown another one in a while, but we did something about wrestling Space Jam, which is kind of funny. It's always basketball. Who's the Michael Jordan of wrestling, and who would be, like, if there was a wrestling Space Jam, who would be the wrestler playing the role Michael Jordan would play? After this clip is off, we'll be back to sign off, and we have a special guest announcement after this clip plays. Here you go.
Okay, yo, quick. They're going to make Space Jam 3 with the Looney Tunes, but it's going to be wrestling. Who plays the Michael Jordan role from AEW?
Oh wow, that'd be interesting.
Quick, let's try to. It's the stupidest question, but I kind of like it.
Who would be the Michael Jordan of wrestling?
Who would be the Michael Jordan lovable? They have someone they could probably do it with.
In AEW or just wrestling in general?
Let's go wrestling in general and see if we can focus it
It
down.
would probably be Roman Reigns. But I don't see that working. I don't know. If
No, because Michael Jordan in the movie was kind of older. No, you'd go Kurt Angle.
Yeah, Kurt Angle. Yeah,
Because he's a little bit older. He's a little goofier. Everybody kind of likes him now. Kurt Angle could totally work.
Kurt Angle will be your next Space Jam. He will be in the next Space Jam movie.
I love it. Yeah.
What is this? Is that real? Are they really making a Space Jam 3? Is that...
In our own minds, yes, they are.
man.
But that would be kind of cool, a wrestling Space Jam with the Looney Tunes. And we mentioned on that we didn't, but WWE Discovery owns Looney Tunes. So what better way to collaborate with AEW and
Very
Bugs
interesting.
Bugs Bunny, but then they'd have to get Kurt Angle to be part of AEW. But either way, that'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, that was a pretty random thought that you guys came up with there.
Yeah, like that's why the show is called Random Wrestling Thought.
Yeah, that's definitely random. And Connor, did you say you had something else?
Yeah, we do have another special guest announcement. As much as I would, person who was talking about, it'd be that person. But we have former WWE star. As I've been saying for the past 2 weeks, we have one half of a tag team member coming on this podcast, and they both are brothers. We're only getting one of them on because the other one's not available. But this person is part of a tag team, his real life brother. It's not the Hardys. Everyone keeps saying that, oh, it's the Hardys, a real life tag team brother. But no, it's not the Hardys. I wish it would have been. But former WWE star Doug Basham, if anyone knows who that is, he was WWE Tag Team Championships, but right became the SmackDown Tag title. He teamed with his brother Danny Basham. Doug Basham is also a coach at OVW alongside Al Snow and Mickey James. He has done a lot of stuff in wrestling. But he will be on tomorrow. It's looking like the time is going to be in the afternoon, maybe 2 or 3-ish. But stay tuned to our socials, Twitter and Facebook. It will likely be posted after this is done, after we're done here. I've already got everything ready to post. I just want to check with him to make sure everything what time's best for him. But Doug Basham will be on.
It's all right. We're all tired.
You know what? All good. So we'll stay tuned on the socials for any updates there from Connor. But you know what? I think we've come to the end of our show for this week. Another great episode. Connor's tired.
Well, it wasn't that.
He's working over.
It was.
I'm tired.
Well, it's in the comments.
Okay.
Can we show that, or would we get in trouble?
Man, if
there you go. Yes, feed him more. Feed him more.
The only match I want to see is Ryback against Ronda Rousey at this point.
Yeah.
No,
right? For relevance on a poll. No. That's what I think it should
keep Ryback away from anything to do with wrestling, please. Please, my God.
No, we need it all in Wembley. Goldberg versus Ryback to main event Wembley Stadium. That would fill seats,
with an interference from Brock Lesnar.
Oh my God, that's a meat match. That's a meathead match for sure.
Special guest referee Brad Maddox.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
No cameras, please.
Yeah, Doug Basham will be on tomorrow. Stay tuned for our socials. As we do every interview, if you want to leave a question and he'll answer it. Definitely stop by, leave your questions, and we'll get as many of them answered as we can. We hope to see everyone watching join us.
Awesome. Yeah. And again, guys, follow us. We're on Instagram, All Elite Zone, and we've got our Facebook group as well. Join us. And of course, join us every week here on our YouTube channel. And thank you again for all that's tuned in. Please like and subscribe. Hey, Hassan. Hi there. Nice for you to join us as we're heading out. Davis, always a pleasure. Thanks for everyone who chimed in. And please tell all your family and friends to subscribe and check us out. And again, gentlemen, it was a pleasure. Fun show. We'll be back, and I'm sure we'll be talking about and see if our predictions, if we actually remember what we said. But we'll see next week and see how the pay-per-view was. But always a pleasure. And we'll see you all next week.